I made home shirts for every single Premier League team to show kit manufacturers it's not that hard to give every team a good kit. This is 20 to 16. Starting with Sheffield United in 20th, I took inspiration from their kit about 10 years ago and I wanted to give them a shirt that wasn't just stripes, but I think the white collar with the black cuffs, I think it all brings it in nicely. With Burnley's kit, I've tried to match the sponsor and give them a classic football shirt. I've gone with a simple plain maroon base with just little accents of the light blue on the collar and on the cuffs. One thing I've tried to do to make it a bit more interesting is have darker sleeves and fade it into the torso, but I kind of feel like it just looks a bit sweaty. With Everton's kit, I really liked it this season, so I tried to keep the same principles and kind of switch up a bit. So I've got rid of the button collar, given it a regular white collar, Hummel logos on the side, and I've moved the stadium pattern onto the main bit of the kit, make it a bit more interesting. Moving on to Luton, I had high hopes for this kit. I had the vision, it linked in with an old kit, I thought it was going to look brilliant, and then it came out, it's not great. It's too orange, it doesn't really flow. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, Luton fans. And moving on to 16th. 16th! We've got Nottingham Forest. There's not a lot of thinking behind this kit. I just think it looks quite cool. The 3 stripes down the middle, I just think looks quite nice. It breaks up for the sponsor. Solid 7 out of 10. Starting off in 15th, we've got Brentford. And with Brentford's kit, I've kind of tried to change it up a little bit. I really dislike this season's kit. I think it's really poor. I think it looks like a Sunday League kit. So for this shirt, I've gone for thinner stripes, a nice black collar. I've made the sleeves completely red, and I've tried to give it a bit of like a B texture. It's not really come out, but I still think it's a solid kit. I think the sponsor gets lost a little bit, but it's a gambling sponsor, so who really cares? So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. In 14th, we've got Crystal Palace, and this shirt had the potential to be an unbelievable kit, but Macron absolutely fluffed it. They've added stupid white lines. They forced the Crystal Palace into the kit. It just doesn't work. So what I've done, I've stripped all back, strong blue on one half, strong red on the other, white cuffs. This kit is a 9 out of 10. In 13th, we've got the poshest team in the league, Fulham. Fulham kits can often be quite sameish, quite boring. So I've kind of gone for a 3/4 white, 1/4 black, black sleeves, white collar. It really pops out. The gambling sponsor's not ideal, but I've coloured in the little man to make him red, to match the badge. I think it's a solid kit. 6 out of 10. In 12th, we've got Bournemouth. And with Bournemouth, I tried to give them a little bit of that flair. They've got a bit of Spanish flair with Adoni Iraola. He's revamping the Bournemouth team, and I've tried to emulate that in the kit. I've kind of gone for black paint strokes instead of regular stripes. In my head, it looked really nice, but it's not worked out that way. The stripes, they just look a bit wibbly wobbly. One thing I do like about this kit is I like the white collar and the white cuffs. And I've got rid of the gambling sponsor, and I've given them the same sponsor as the women's team, Bournemouth University. Moving on to 11th, we've got Chelsea. And if I'm being honest, I've created an all-timer here. The strong raw blue, the diamond patterns from the kit about 20 years ago. I've also given the collar and the cuffs a little red trim to match the badge, and I've replaced the Infinite Athlete sponsor with the sponsor that's pretty much confirmed to be Chelsea's kit sponsor next season. This kit is a 9.5 out of 10. In 10th, we've got Wolves. And with Wolves, I feel like they've always been a bit hard done by with kits. I don't think they're very nice. I think the colour's off. I just don't think they're great. So I've changed the orange for more goldy colour. I've given the kit black collar with a white trim, and then the cuffs are white with a black trim just to mix it up, make it pop. I think it looks really, really good. In 9th, we've got Newcastle. And to celebrate Adidas coming back to Toonside, I've tried to recreate one of their all-timer kits with their all-timer sponsor, Newcastle Brown Ale. And so I've centralised everything. I've made the cellar orange, bold black stripes. I've tried to give it a modern take, given white sleeves. It's okay. I quite like it. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. Moving on to 8th, we've got Brighton. I've tried to change it up a little bit. I've gone for thick blue stripes or really thin white stripes, depending how you want to look at it. I faded out across the Amex logo. It's a bit quirky. It's quite cool. Bit like Brighton. 8 out of 10. Moving on to West Ham in 7th. I've given them 2 thick blue stripes across the Betway logo and then across the 2 badges on the front of the kit. I mean, it's okay. It's not setting the world alight. It's a claret and blue kit. It's standard. 6 out of 10. Now moving on to 6th, my original idea for this was to kind of emulate the kit from 10 years ago. Black sides, the Vodafone kit. It was banging. But what I've seemingly done is I've just made their kit for next season. So maybe I will have Adidas, maybe I don't. I'll keep you in the loop. I think it's a brilliant kit. 9 out of 10. In at 5th, we've got Spurs. And for Spurs' kit, I was inspired by 3 main things. Number 1, England's World Cup kit that should just never have been England's kit. Number 2, Spurs fans' hatred of having a red front of shirt sponsor. And number 3, just how boring Spurs shirts have been recently. I think this works really well. I've also made the shirt sponsor blue, everything's white. It's a pretty good kit. I'd give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. Moving in at 4th, we've got Aston Villa. And with this kit, I think it's just a pretty solid kit. It's claret and blue sleeves, blue collar, everything you'd want as a Villa fan, but it just doesn't really excite me. And at 3rd, we've got Arsenal. And if I'm being honest, this is the best kit on the list. Arsenal fans always go on about how the banana kit is the best kit in the world. It's a good kit. So what I decided to do is I'd whack it in the home kit, and I think it's worked amazingly. I've also added the blue from the badge onto the collar and the cuffs just to tie everything together. This is genuinely a 9 out of 10 kit. Moving in at 2, we've got Man City, and I've tried to put the design from the badge onto the kit. There's kind of these diagonal stripes on the badge, and I wanted to put them onto the main bit of the kit, but I just don't think it works really well. I think it makes the kit look a bit shiny, look a bit tacky. It's not great. One thing that I do like is the dark collar and cuffs. I usually prefer the darker Man City kits, but Puma have obviously moved away from that, adding more white. I'd probably give this a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Moving into the last kit of the list, we've got Liverpool, and if I'm being honest, this kit is up there with the very best. What I've done is I've added the green from the traditional badge onto the collar and the cuffs, and then I've just given a strong red base to the kit, and then I've added 97 darker pinstripes to the main body of the kit. I'd give this kit a 9 out of 10, just under the Arsenal kit. Let me know what you think was the best kit on the list, and let me know what kits I should make next.